All right, everyone, here we go with another Living at Home Network platform user training. This is training number 3. In this training, we're going to cover fundraising basics. And just a reminder that these trainings are to give you an overview of different functionality in your Living at Home Network platform. They are not designed to go into detail on specific aspects. We have additional resources in our support center and online user trainings for more specifics on these functions. So here we go. Again, a reminder of the platform structure. There are 3 main areas where the Living at Home Network platform will be used. First is your website, where we have online donation forms, meeting and event registrations with an online calendar, a subscription form, and of course you have a form builder where you can create your own forms to integrate into your website. The second area is the portal. This is where you'll manage new service requests and service activities. That's going to be covered in user training number 5. And then there's the CRM, which is the engine that drives the platform. This is where all your data resides for all of your donors, participants, volunteers, allied organizations, and along with the integrated communications hub. So today's training, we're going to look at CRM, but we're also going to talk a bit about how fundraising also interacts with your website through online donation forms and event registration forms that take payments. So what are we going to cover today? Overview about fundraising. We're going to talk about campaigns and segments, which is really what you set up in your fundraising activities in order to report on those activities. How to record a donation, we'll go through a demonstration of that. How to send thank yous out for donations and an overview of fundraising reporting, and then talk a bit about help and support. Just for some context, the data bank started in 1998, and our first product was an online or web-based fundraising management platform called DonorMax. So we've been doing fundraising since the beginning of our company. It is still a core competency of the data bank platform. All right, with that, let's get in and take a look at fundraising in your data bank. So of course, there's the login process. We covered this in user training 1. If you have not logged into your system yet, you might want to review that. If you are still waiting to get set up on the system, you will get an email once your data is into the data bank to log in and start working with the system. So once you log into the data bank, you will be coming to, let me move this over to the dashboard screen. So here we see ourselves logged into the member organization sample. Again, this is a sample data bank that we have set up for the purpose of doing these user trainings and demonstrating the various functions of the data bank for Living at Home Network organizations. This screen is the dashboard that you'll see when you first log in. Again, there's ways to customize or configure this dashboard specific to each user. You can select which tiles and graphs and charts you see within this dashboard. I want to point out that a number of these tiles and charts are specific to fundraising activities, since that is a core competency of the data bank. So you will definitely want to take a look at this and configure this dashboard specific to what you have. I'm not going to go into detail about these different tiles. This dashboard guide actually will give you specific information on what data or metrics are being tracked within each of these graphs. I do want to point out that you can also change the date that these tiles are specific to if you want to have some different perspectives on different dates. Also want to point out here that within the dashboard, there's a number of additional reports that can be looked up. Several of these reports, such as campaign totals, totals by month, year over year, and total donors are specific to fundraising. I'll just click on one of these so we can take a look at it. We'll move this to this year. So this is just a pie chart showing different campaign activities for the current calendar year. All right. So let's go in and take a look at a contact record, a donor record. And let me just say here that one of the things you can do when you're entering in new donors is you can identify them as a donor by selecting their contact type. We'll do a search here for all of the records in the data bank right now that have been identified as a donor. Let's go over to my record since I know I have some contribution or transaction histories in here. All right, so here we are. And down in the lower right area here is where all of your transaction histories will reside. Transaction histories can be a donation, it can be a payment for attending an event, it could be a merchandise sale, any type where you're tracking transactions by individuals or organizations can be tracked here within the system. There's also pledge tracking available here. So if people make pledges and payments over time, you're able to put that in there and then record payments as they come in specific to that pledge. Soft credits, I'm not going to go into detail here, but this is a way to attribute, say, a memorial or memoriam donation made in behalf of somebody else's name, or some other way where you want to attribute some aspect of that donation to another record within your data bank. All right, I can click on the transaction tab here to give me a little more specific information on these transactions. Here we see some summary information that are automatically calculated based on the contact's transaction history, and then there's a little chart here which will show this individual's transaction history over time. So let's talk about how are transactions tracked, and that happens through our campaign structure. Again, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about the campaign structure. I want to point out that over here in the Data Bank Support Center, there is a section here specific to fundraising. If you go there, you'll see we have dozens of articles talking about fundraising and how to set things up. Here's one specific to campaign structure. This includes, I believe, there you go, campaign contribution hierarchy. This will help you understand how to set up your campaigns in the data bank. So here we have a few campaigns set up. You see one is to track online donations, another one is for classes and events. So this would be for payments to different events or activities that you might be handling. And then there's an annual appeal campaign. Again, these are demonstration campaigns that I've set up to just show some of this functionality. When setting up your campaign structure, there are some additional items you can put in here. Let's go back over here and then talk about segments. So within a campaign, you can have multiple segments. These segments allow you to differentiate different types of transactions specific to that campaign. You can see here that I've set this up to track general mailings, give it the max days, some major donor mailings. So these might be different segments within a campaign that you want to track, and you want to be able to identify more specifics related to campaign. Again, I'm going to direct you to that support center to help you get a better understanding of setting up your campaign and segment structures. Basic idea though is you set up campaigns and segments specific to how you want to be able to report on your transactions. So if I'm going to jump over here real quickly to the report section, and you can see if I click on transactions, all of the different types of reports that are available for you to report on your donations. Let's just look at this campaign detail report. So you see here, if I click on the annual appeal, you can see a current report of how many contributions have come in for each of the different segments within the campaign, and then of course overall campaign donations. And there are multiple reports that will track all of these in one report. Again, encourage you to spend some time here in the report area looking at the transaction reports, familiarize yourself with the different reports that are built in there. All right, let's get back to individual donor, and how do you record a donation. So if someone, let's say you send out a mail appeal, someone sends in a check with a donation for that mail appeal, you want to report that in the person's history. Go over here to transactions, and of course, as we've talked about before, anytime there's a plus sign here, that is what you click on to add a new record specific to that data type. So if I click here, it allows me to create a new transaction. First thing I'm going to need to do is to select a campaign, and then a segment from that campaign. Let's just say this is from the general mailing. You enter in the donation amount. This was a renewal. Payment came as a check. You can also record the check number, which is sometimes helpful. And if you want to note that they've been thanked, you can put that there. And then you can also enter in a note specific to this transaction. So if that looks good, you just hit submit. And now that new transaction has showed up within the contacts record. So that's how to enter a new transaction, donation, or payment within a contact record. The other thing that the fundraising functionality provides you is an online donation form. So let's go take a look at some examples of that. If I click on the forms here, you'll see we have some forms preloaded in here. One of those, actually, we have 3 samples of a donation form here. You can have a donation form in different structures. It's really up to you to decide how you want your donation or donation forms to be presented. Let's take a look at this simple donate form right here. This is a nice one because it allows someone to do all the data entry on a single form. One of the things I want to point out on your donation forms is these are all mobile responsive. It's really a good idea for whatever donation form you use that you set it up so that it is really usable on a cell phone, because the reality is most people coming to your website, most people looking at your emails, if you send out an email fundraising solicitation, are going to be doing so on their phones. And so you want to make your donation form as easy to use on a cell phone as possible. So the sample of a donation form, here they can select the amounts. These amounts are configurable by your organization. You can also create this so that it's a monthly reoccurring donation. I'm not going to get into specifics about that, but our system does facilitate recurring donations, and your payment gateway will also be able to manage that so that these payments, if it's a credit card payment, for instance, or an ACH payment, will automatically charge on the scheduled time, the monthly time that this is set up to do. So the donor enters in their information, enters in their credit card information. This one's not set up to handle ACH, but if your donation form handles ACH payments, the donor would be able to select that as a payment option as well as you can create, you can have a check mail as an option where they'll mail in a check. So once the donor submits this payment, a receipt, a thank you email will go out to the donor. Here I have an example of a thank you email for a contribution that I posted here just a little while ago. Now we don't have specifics in the org here. Of course, this would be your organization. Again, this is a sample data bank, and so we don't have those details filled out for that. But the donor will receive an automatic email notification that a donation has come in. And then on the data bank side, and this is very important to understand, is that donations made online do not automatically post into the data bank. And there's a couple of reasons for that, which we'll take a look at. So what you need to be doing is going to this payments link, and there you're going to see that payment from this online donation that I submitted a little while ago. So there's 2 reasons that we don't post payments directly into the data bank, even though we may know that that person is already in the data bank. First reason is simply that, is that you're not sure, maybe the person entered their name differently in the donation form that's in the data bank, maybe they used a different email address. So this allows you to look at the information from the prospective donation and then identify, is that person already within your data bank? If so, you can just apply this donation to that existing record. If not, you can say, oh no, this is a new contact, it's not the same person. And then when you post this, it will create a new contact record with that transaction. But in this case, of course, we know that this is already me. Now, the second reason that we don't post these transactions directly into the data bank is that if it's, let's say, a charge card or an ACH transaction and there's something wrong with the transaction that's happened, that'll be noted here in this payments area, and it gives you an opportunity to maybe resubmit the charge card again to see if it goes through the second time. Perhaps the donor entered in the expiration date or the security check number incorrectly. That gives you the ability then to contact the donor and ask to correct the wrong information that was input, or perhaps their card is expired, those types of things. So this is a place where it allows you to deal with any of those potential issues with an online donation. If everything looks fine and you want to post this in here, you just click post and say process selected payments. The payment's gone away. If I go back now to my record here, you'll see now there is a a new additional donation from the one that we just saw. So a couple more things about fundraising here. Of course, you want to understand the Power Mail tool and how you can set up a fundraising appeal going out to your contact list. The nice thing about these fundraising, these Power Mails, is you can include a link directly to the contribution form. And because this is going to someone you already have in your data bank, the link that is created in the Power Mail will be a personalized link. So when they come to the donation form, it'll pre-fill in their information. All they'll need to do is to input some credit card or ACH information for payment and the amount and submit the donation. So it makes it very easy for donors to renew donations as long as they are already within the data bank. All right, let's go back to my record here. I'll show you a few more things about fundraising. So once a donation has come in here, now I showed that the donor, if they're making an online donation, will automatically receive an email thanking them for the donation along with the donation specifics. If something has come in through the mail and there's not an automatic email sent out, right here within the contact donor's record, you click on this little envelope, it'll pull up a ability to send an email thank you to that person, as long as they have an email address in here. And of course, you can modify this as much as you want. So that's one way to say thank you, send thank yous out to folks. Another way to send a thank you out to them is to use a mail merge. If you have a mail merge template set up to send individual thank yous out for donations, you can select that from here. It will then generate that mail merge, and you can print that off and throw it in the postal mail and mail it to the donor, thanking them for their gift. So there we've talked about general fundraising, recording a donation, how to make and manage payments, send thank yous for your payments. Just want to spend a little more time here on the reporting side of things. So, of course, reporting on various donor activities is going to be very important. We as you can see here, I have dozens of pre-built fundraising reports to help you understand and report on your various transactions going forward. I will also say that another way that the fundraising function can be used is to record grants that have been given to your organizations. You would set the foundation up as a contact record and then enter that grant amount. You're going to want to set up a campaign specific to grants in order to track those grants as well. All right. Do want to point out here that in addition to the support center and the various support documents and videos specific to fundraising, we do have the regularly scheduled online user trainings that any databank user is free to come and sign up for. You can see we have a series of them starting here in April. 2 of these are specific to fundraising. So this one here is figured out fundraising, and then the second is specifically about fundraising reports. So I encourage you to take a look at these online user trainings, sign up for whichever ones you want to. These again will be done not just in April, but we'll probably have a new series of them again, beginning again in June. So you're free to take those. All right, so that's a quick overview of the fundraising functions within the data bank. Hope you get a sense of how we can track all sorts of different types of transactions, and report on those transactions, whether it's a donation or a meetings and event payment, merchandise sale, however, whatever type of transaction you might be receiving can be reported and tracked within the data bank. As always, if you have any questions about doing these types of things, if you want to use our support request, please do so as well. But do utilize the support center and those online user trainings. All right, thank you very much. Hope this is helpful, and look for another Living at Home Network user training video.